Good morning. Welcome to a beautiful day. It's a brand new day. Yes, indeed. It's Quest Television, and it's a beautiful Monday morning, the 16th day in the month of October 2023. My name is Alex Obunaya. Welcome to the paper review for today. We have 4 newspapers up for review this morning. There are Nigeria Tribune, we have The Nation, we also have The Punch and Vanguard newspapers. And we also have someone in the studio who will help us do justice to these dailies in the person of Comrade Efe Odomo. Good morning to you, Comrade.
Yeah, good morning, and I pray we have a beautiful week ahead of us, and I know quite well that your weekend was good.
Fantastic.
Yes, I can see it on your
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's well timed. Okay, let's not dwell much on that now. Let's go straight to the papers, and we kick off with the Nigeria Tribune newspaper. And the Nigeria Tribune newspaper, the lead story on the front page, Bayelsa Kogi Imo elections. As you can see on your screen, PDP, LP disagree with APC over INEC's assurance. You can read up that story on page 22. It comes with a rider. Opposition parties raise doubts over e-transmission of results. We are still traumatized by February poll experience. Labour Party, trust INEC at your peril. Okori Abga warns candidates. We won't accept results declaration not electronically transmitted. INEC will do what it promised. APC. APC is now the mouthpiece of INEC. I can see Comrade Odomo there smiling to that. Okay, Kaduna appeal, Uba Sani, PDP candidate lists 38 errors by tribunal. That's on page 23. Annual editors confirm economic experts to interrogate states of economy. Tinubu expected to declare conference open in Uyo. Ondo APC, PDP trade words over Akeredolu's absence. Planned mayhem. That's on page 28. CSU, Tinubu gives reasons why Supreme Court can't accept Atiku's fresh evidence. Alteration in my name, well documented. Atiku tells Tinubu, says revelations at U.S. court disposition tip of the iceberg. Okay, reps take delivery of new SUVs. Okay, it comes with a rider. Vehicles are work tools. Reps leadership. Okay, that's on page 28. Let's see, above the masthead, World Food Day, Nigerians groan over persistent increase in price of food. You can read up that story on page 6. So many stories begging for attention on the front page of the Nigeria Tribune. We'll just leave it at that. Let's look at the Nation newspaper. A lead story on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Tinubu, why Supreme Court can't admit Atiku's CSU evidence. That's the lead story on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Former Niger Delta warlords unite against oil theft. You can read up that story on page 6. I'll take that again. Former Niger Delta warlords unite against oil theft. That's on page 6. IMF backs bid to cut inflation, ease debt burden by countries. We are mediating between creditors, debtor nations, says fund president. Whatever that means, the story is just directly below the masthead of the Nation newspaper. U.S. to avert escalation of Israel-Hamas war. That's also on the front page, where Bokai neck and neck in Liberia pool. Okay, there were Liberians who went to the poll over the weekend. 30 drowned, 167 missing in Congo boat accident. That's a sad one there. And it's time to fix Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, says Akpabio. Economy takes center stage as FEC meets. I'll tell you that again. Economy takes center stage as Federal Executive Council meets. That's on page 4. And finally, on the front page of the Nation, Nigerian equities post third highest global returns. Experts to examine the economy as editors annual confab. You can read that on page 28. Okay, let's go straight to the Punch newspaper. And Punch newspaper is leading with a business-related story. Federal government may spend 3.27 trillion naira on palliatives loans. 15 million households to get 1.13 trillion for 3 months, 125 billion for MSMEs, others, and PWDs demand more palliatives from Sanwo-Olu. Kwara IDPs get relief materials. All of that you can find on the front page of the Punch newspaper with a caption, Federal government may spend 3.27 trillion naira on palliatives and loans. Nightclub workers face prosecution for assaulting Lagos State government officials. Okay, you recall that the government in Lagos some days ago sealed a nightclub for noise pollution. That's an update. Editors invite Tinubu to discuss economic crisis at Uyo conference. Pastor, 3 others caught with human skull in Ogun State. Israel, Hamas, Pope, China, UK demand end to civilian casualties. And above the masthead, Tinubu swears in new ministers as FEC meets today. Naira under pressure, Nigeria may seek dollar loan, that's according to IMF. And fuel imports go up 843 billion naira. Stakeholders lament inactive refineries. Wow. Okay, let's finally look at Vanguard newspaper. And Vanguard too is also leading with business, financial related stories. And it's captioned 21 states owe 790 billion naira inherited pensions and gratuities. All of that can be found on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Above the masthead comes this one, Tinubu to preside over FEC today. Ohaneze to meet Tinubu over Nnamdi Kanu. We still do not know when that meeting will hold. U.S. woos Saudi, Egypt, others to pressure Hamas to free hostages. That's on the Israel-Hamas war. Arnold editors confirm experts to probe state of economy. You can read up that story on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. Foreign investments in manufacturing up 88% to $861 million. Federal government targets what's this one now? Okay, let's see. 2 million barrels oil production to boost revenue forex. That's according to the minister. It's not very clear to me, but you can read it up to get a clearer picture. Serap to Akpabio, Abbas don't regulate social media. And finally, Google Post remove emo rec to avoid Adama fiasco. PDP tells INEC. That's that from the Vanguard newspaper. Okay, let's quickly now return to you, Comrade Efeodamo. So many stories. I guess a lot happened over the weekend. So loaded with stories. The papers, I beg your pardon, are so loaded with stories begging for attention. I'm going to start with the Ohaneze to meet with Tinubu over Nnamdi Kanu. I don't know. The issue of Nnamdi Kanu is still there.
It's on the front burner.
Yeah, it's still on the front burner. Court has ruled again, but federal government has continued to ignore court ruling. What do you make of this visit? Do you think anything positive can come out of it?
Yes, thank you so much, Alex. What the barrel of gun could not solve, it will be easier to solve using a jaw. And I think they're just coming to reality of things now. Kanu is not being held by the Supreme Court. Kanu is being held by the federal government, with all intrigues, with all the body movements that we've been seeing for a very long time. I could remember when the last administration headed by Muhammadu Buhari was in office, and he visited the East, and the Ohaneze hosted him, and they told him, that was the leader of the Ohaneze then, the old man, I will try and remember his name, pleaded that do only one thing for us, Mr. President, release our son Kanu. And Mr. President went ahead to say that it's the court that is holding him, not him, that let the court do their job. Not quite long, the court passed judgment that Nnamdi Kanu should be freed, and still they refused. So now that Ohaneze is coming out with that type of a plan, I think you're going to achieve a result. Because I won't agree, you won't agree, it's the cause of fiasco. I think definitely and positively Kanu will be out of it. Taking into consideration also that Igboho Sunday, who did the same thing with him, has been released. So was it not last week or 2 weeks ago, and the guy is in Germany now. So why hold one and leave one?
Okay. World Food Day, Nigerians groan over persistent increase in the price of food. They've called on the president, to do something to crash the prices of food and other, think basic
What can the president do?
That's a question to you. What do you think the president can do?
What can the president do to bring down the food prices? We are in crisis. The CBN governor has taken a proactive and a good step by unbanning some of the 43 items that the former CBN governor put under locks and key.
Okay, let me stop you at this point now.
Yes.
For the benefit of those who may not understand the implication of that move, for the layman, what does that imply now on banning those for the 3 items?
You know, when they were banned, they were not coming in, and the few ones that are available was being pursued by too much naira, and that led to hyperinflation. Now that everybody has access to it, I use the word everybody because once you do a thing like that, most people will rush into it to bring the items in. Excuse me. And when you have much more supply than demand, the prices will crash. That is a lot of economics. By unbanning these items, like rice and other things, rice is the most staple food in Nigeria as of today. But somebody like me, I can stay a whole year without eating rice. I will be happier than when I eat rice. So for those who say or who think that without rice they will not survive it, they have the opportunity to go to the market and compete with other buyers. For now, a bag of rice is more than around 50 to 60,000 per bag. How many families could afford that? When minimum wage, you are still talking of about 30,000. So you use 2 months' salary to go and queue for one rice. You've not bought any other thing. You've not done any other variable expenses. So by unbanning these items and they continue to flow and they begin to flow into the country, it will bring down prices.
But then the prices, sorry, I'm coming in at this point too, but then the prices are still up. When do we start feeling the effect of the unbanning of the product?
You cannot, look, it is not the day you have injury that the injury will start bringing that force. You understand? They just unbanned this thing. They've not actually implemented them. The policy statement has been made. We are waiting for the practicability of that statement. So when they start bringing up this thing, then the prices will crash. You cannot just say I've unbanned so item and therefore the prices will come down when the reality is not on ground yet. Until they start importing, until the licenses are given, until the customs have been instructed not to disturb anybody bringing those things, as far as you have your clearance paper, then prices automatically will crash. This is not a stock exchange matter. It is only a stock exchange matter that when the president makes a pronouncement or there is some body language movement in the presidency, that the price will either go up or crash. Now let me refer you back to June 12, 1993 when that election was held. Okay. Yes, when they were sensing that one of the presidential candidates was coasting to the victory, prices started coming down because that's an international politics. We are talking about consumption now. Everybody has put their taste on importation. Now all of a sudden you stop importation. The few ones that are able to bring in these products through either their local production or smuggling, we have to increase the price because we have to settle so many channels. Now that all those channels will be settled are no longer there, automatically the demand will go up and the importation will also go up. In that sense, we are now meeting at an equilibrium point. It will bring down the prices.
Let's go to Kogi, Bayelsa and Imo. Elections will be held in those states in less than a month from today.
Yes.
So much has been said. So much is still going to be said. And so much will be said after the election. You saw the headline with APC assuring Nigerians that INEC will do what it promised. APC speaking for INEC. What does it say about this forthcoming election in these 3 states?
That statement alone is enough for the other parties to actually take them up on this matter. What concerns APC, whether it will be credible or it will not be credible, their own is to sell their own candidate, market your candidate for the position they are going for. But Alex, between you and me, in a very, very civilized society, do you think that with all the accusations levied here and there against the INEC chairman, they should still be in office to conduct further elections? All the elections conducted so far by this man have all been challenged in court, and they are losing so many of them. And you still want this same man to continue. It's only, well, let me not use that word. It's only some type of people that do a thing repeatedly for 1,000 times and they expect a different result. INEC has told us that they are not capable of running a transparent and free and fair elections in this country. They would have, and they should have, they must have done a lot of changes before this time. They should, in fact, what is happening is more or less like a mirage. It's a mirage. When you are preparing for an election, the ones you have done have been upturned here and there. different court cases, bringing all sorts of embarrassment to the nation, and you are still there sitting down very proud, priding yourself that you have done something reasonable. I don't think that thing is normal in the normal society.
Let me ask you this. I don't know if time will permit us to discuss this. Federal government, I'm reading from the Punch newspaper now. It says federal government may spend 3.27 trillion naira on palliatives loans since that pronouncement of subsidy removal. Isn't this robbing Peter to pay Paul kind of situation we are in?
If you remember 2016, the former governor of Anambra State, said he was tired of advising the federal government, led by Muhammadu Buhari, that it's like you are beating a drum at the graveyard. Everybody has complained about these palliatives. Everybody has complained about the loans we are taking. You do not take revenue loan. How do you pay back? You take loan to feed people, and what you have consumed, how do you pay back? Why don't you use those monies for investment? Why don't you use those money to revitalize your ailing assets? Why don't you use that money to bring in foreign investment? Rather, you are giving it to people to go and start feeding. You give some people, like there is a state that got 80 bags of rice. How do they share it? Even it's not up to 1 derrick of rice to a family. Now you are taking this type of loan. Don't forget, taking the loan is another thing. The interest is another thing too. By the time you add the interest to the loan, it's astronomically high. As at last year, I think we're having about 95% of our revenue going into loan servicing. We have not even started talking about the loan itself. Now you are adding another one to it. Our oil is dwindling. Now it's supposed to have gone up in the international market because of the struggle in our modern earth today. But rather, what do we do? What are we doing with the excess revenue that we accumulated from the international market? We are using them for frivolous expenses. Somebody wrote over the weekend that the last federal government delegation to UNGA, that is United Nations General Assembly, they spent an average of $45,000 to book for hotels. Do we need those things? Do we need them? When we are having ailing economy begging for attention, nobody's talking about that. We are having almost 50 ministers, if not more now, for a state of 36. Nobody's talking about it. We are appointing a youth corps to head ministries. We are appointing a 25-year-old man to head the whole firm at that sensitive position. Nobody's talking about it. Rather, we are talking about taking loan for palliatives. Does that make sense?
Okay. There's this one that just, I don't know where to find it now. Okay, I think I've seen it. It's up to the leadership of the National Assembly, the Senate, and the Speaker, telling them not to regulate social media bill. There's a newly introduced...
they want to gag the social media.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you now, do you think this is considering I don't know if to say, if the prevalence of fake news today on social media, is this the right step to go about?
There is nothing like fake news in the social media, nothing like that. If you deny somebody the right of information, the person has the right to go after any information that he believes that will put him or will make him relevant. And if you make some policies that are not in tandem with the people are bound to talk. You see, you cannot gag the press. You cannot. It's just like you are placing your leg on the throttle and at the same time you are holding down your brake. What happens to the vehicle? The vehicle will rigmarole in one position and possibly tumble. If you want press to be gagged, it's very easy. Come out with good policy, implement the policies, be transparent, and let people see what you are doing. It will kill off all these things. But by the time you don't do any of this, and you say nobody should talk, you cannot flog a child and tell the child not to cry. It was in those when we were very small. When they are flogging, they will say, yeah, hold them out, don't cry. But the child must see who.
You know?
What is the meaning of that one? It's still crying. Now, you are making different types of mistakes, falling upon mistakes on daily basis. And you say people should not talk. The governors, they are doing their own. Nobody should talk. The National Assembly, don't forget, there was stipend for prayers when they were going on vacation. Nobody should talk about it. Some of them are earning hundreds of millions, a new car every 4 years, as a retired governor. And they are also in the National Assembly, earning another salary there, getting the constituency allowances and so on and so forth. Now they've been given some bulletproof cards, and somebody is saying that it's not a dash. Okay. And they are saying the press should not talk.
It's to help them, carry out their responsibilities, the national assignments.
You come from a very far distance to this office. How many have you got to help you?
Okay. Thank you so much, Comrade Efe Odomo. I think this is where we shall be calling it a day. Thank you so much, and I want to say a big thank you to Vanguard newspapers for sponsoring the papers this morning on Quest Television. Good morning.